Hi, BrettDalton.Org. Thanks
Hello.
for sending the questions. I'm Simon Kassianides.
I'm Brett Dalton.
I think that the excitement, living in a world which is far removed from reality and seeing some really cool stunts.
Likewise.
Stunt training on this one is kind of, it's unique in terms of the fact that we're not really well trained. It's going to be with people, the whole effect of it is it's very real and gritty, and that it isn't very well trained and slick. It's more brutal. So that takes its own kind of special training. And you're part of this?
Do I think that my work on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has helped? Yes, tremendously. I didn't know how to throw a punch. I mean, the stunt training there has helped tremendously. And I do think that S.H.I.E.L.D. has, absolutely gave me my fair share of practice for this. And it is really its own style of fighting. Fighting on film is its own style, for sure.
I agree with something. I think it depends on the story and whether or not the action is telling the story in the right way. And I think that's the way that all action should be approached. And that's my take on that. So it's not a question of preferring one or the other. It's a question of does it fit what the story you're trying to tell.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And yes, we do have a big budget on that particular show. But I don't think we're doing this short film so that we can show off how well the computer can do CGI.
I agree. Yeah, totally. This is going to be. Well, I think they're going to take away the fact that I hope that we are in a world we've not seen before. That's very exciting. There's going to be a lot more questions than answers. I think they're going to take away the fact that we've really thought about this in terms of style and in terms of depth of character, and I think showing something that you've not seen before. I think that's what they're going to take away from that. Good luck! It's a lot of work.
No.
Yeah, goodbye.
Nice.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it's more work than you think it's going to be, but it's worth it. I think the trying is even more exciting than you think it's going to be. I think that's definitely, if you've got a dream, you've got to go for it.
Yeah, and it has to come from a place of love. I can't imagine doing anything else. And once I made that decision, I think in my life, then there's so much stuff you have to deal with in order to do the thing that you love. There's like 99 steps of okay, all right, in order to do that, couple of minutes of things that you love, and so you have to really love it.
Yeah, make sure you've got a great support network of friends, family, and hopefully you can work. You make the best friends.
Tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, you want to do a Kickstarter film? My last year of high school, I wanted to get into a good college, and extracurricular stuff looks good on a college resume, and so they were doing. Yeah. Oh yeah, well they were doing a play, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, in my high school, and I auditioned for it, and within a minute of holding the sides and practicing with somebody else, I was like, oh, this is what I should have been doing for like all of my life. Oh, this is what I really should have been focusing on all of this time. And so it all makes sense. And finally I found actors never feel like they belong anywhere. And yet I felt like there was a whole bunch of other people surrounding me that also felt like they didn't belong anywhere else. And so we belonged with each other.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, it was like island of misfit toys.
Yeah, I think what was the question? When and why? I decided after I graduated from university, where I studied finance, that it just really wasn't for me, and someone recommended trying acting out, and I went for it, and it changed my life. Why I decided to go for it as a career, like Brett says, I think once you realise that that's what you're meant to do, it's an impossible thing to turn away from. It's very addictive. And also, I don't know if you believe in a calling or not, but I certainly do and did.
You're really good, man. I just can't imagine you doing finance. I'm sure there's acting involved.
Neither can a lot of bankers.
Yeah, that's funny.
I tried it, and I lost a lot of money.
It's just so funny. It's just, you're not dabbling in it. You're really good.
Thank you.
Most.
Him!
Oh, that's very kind. How much do I owe you for that?
20, just 20.
Okay, so that's fine. I'll just after this.
It's not for me. It's not just quickly. It's not like a famous person. It's just anyone that dedicates their life to it and always works hard to improving.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of actors that are like that, rather than any like celebrity or one person that I don't know. It's more the people that I do know that just work really hard to keep it fresh and keep it going. And that's something that really, honestly, it's not a love fest, but he's got that totally.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say. I remember just yesterday you said Christian Bale. Was yesterday 2 years ago?
Yeah.
You said Christian Bale gave an interview and said, "I never quite nailed Batman," and to me, I felt like, man, that makes Christian Bale one of. I mean, already he's one of the best actors, but still, I know exactly that feeling, and it can become an obsessive kind of a thing, and. We're reaching for the stars and I don't know, we're reaching for a kind of truth. I felt that made Christian Bale like just one of those actors who never really turns it off.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando, Daniel Day-Lewis, Brad Pitt. The list goes on. There's a million people in there. Christian Bale is probably one of the top ones in there, actually. Casey Affleck also.
He was amazing. Yeah, we saw that. For me, the thing I was worried about the most was who was going to help me multitask from acting to directing, and so I made sure that with people like we've got Daniel Katz, and working with actors that I trust, that I know that I can talk with and get them on board really early. It's going to be less of an unknown, as opposed to just meeting actors on the day. That tends to happen when you film. You just kind of meet someone on the day and you've got to just totally figure it out. So that's the most challenging thing for me.
Just making sure that the coffee order's right. Would be mine,
I love it. Are we working together on this project?
As long as you get that coffee right, bro.
Sure, yeah. I really respect Brett. I really needed this character of Victor to come to life, and I really sought Brett out on this, and I was like, you've got to read it and you've got to do it. You're going to see how it has to be you, and luckily that's how that happened. And I loved working with him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think our scenes are really kind of sexy and cool, the ones that we've got on the show. The story was developed way back in terms of I really was interested in the genre. I really wanted to create something that was very original, and so through a lot of help from some really cool people and advice, this script evolved, as all things do. I took on advice of other people and really listened, and it's still evolving currently with Brett's input as well.
I enjoyed working with Mr. Bakshi here to my left. From the very first table read, we knew he was the guy. He had a ton of talent, and I didn't know he was doing all this other stuff on the side. And that he worked in finance beforehand, all the cool stuff. And I was very flattered when he thought of me and remembered me. There's
paying my rent.
Nice. There's a couple of episodes in S.H.I.E.L.D. where I feel like something was happening. I really understood who his character was. The scenes were really there and legit. And there's a couple of them that, it might just be another week for somebody else tuning in. But for me, I was like, I think that we actually got close to the truth of that character, that scene. Okay.
Special words for the fans that have already backed the project. Thank you so much. You're inspiring to us and to the others, I hope. That's the whole thing. Watch it. Find out what we're about. Watch our video, watch everyone else's video, and see the reaction to the material that you've not had a chance to read yourselves yet. And see what we're inspiring in other people. And I think jump on board that train. That, you've got a dream, put it out there, get inspired, inspire others, and try. That's what I would say.
And for those who have not clicked yet,
that's what I think. Really check it out. And if you really want to see some original action film, then you really should jump on board. And we're going to really show you from storyboards to the preparations. If we get going on this, you're going to be part of this whole journey. I think that's important.
I agree. This is as much our project as it is your project.
Yeah,
and we're trying to share everything along the way. And there's a lot of stuff out there, but take 30 seconds.
Oh.
Click on the link. Give us 30 seconds, and I think that you'll see there is an incredible project on that link that is worth backing, that is worth your time, and that frankly is worth your money. So please do that. Can you each describe the plot of Trust No One in only one word?
Thrilling.
Sexy.
Yeah. Well, we haven't actually. We're trying to raise the finances to make it, so we don't know the answer to that question yet.
Right. We're just two artists with a dream, baby.
Yeah. Making sure that all the people around me, including the actors, are experienced, they're trustworthy, inspiring, and informed. Number 2. I think that Kickstarter was an all or nothing approach, and that inspired me. We need this money to make it really cool. So if we don't raise that much money, then we can't make it. That was why it was Kickstarter rather than Indiegogo, and I like that challenge. Challenges, yes, you have to show all the work that you're aiming to do up front, and that I like. I like the fact that you had to kind of do all the work up front. It shows effort and willing and research and commitment to your story. I've particularly enjoyed the fact that it forces you and your team to work together early on, with Daniel, with Jeremy White, with Aaron Ratner, with the cast, the makeup artist, everyone involved, including Brett. That's been amazing. Her role is central. It's something that you've not seen her do before. That's similar to Brett as well.
That being said, we are going to have the same trailer, the same introduction as Outlander.
Everyone has the same cast.
It's going to be just, yeah.
Yes, I value the opinion of my actors on this. I value the opinion of the cast, all of them, the crew, and so it is an evolutionary process. The feedback's been very strong and very positive. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. They like me, but they are, they're careful in what they want to do. Especially Brett, especially Caitriona. They don't just want to do a project because I'm a nice guy. I think they also would like to do something that's good. Simon, did you always have Brett and Caitriona in mind for the roles of Victor and Amber when you were writing Trust No One? Very simply, yes. I mean, that's the answer to that one. I did, and I'm glad that they reacted the way they did.
Why you gotta say other than the chance to work with Simon? Because why can't that be it? That is exactly why. Victor is great. Victor is one of those characters that is talked about in the film before he's ever seen. Kind of like Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now. There's
foreboding.
A foreboding he's felt in these scenes, even though he isn't seen until the end, and I always love that. It's like the longest introduction for someone, and then when you see them, they're this agent of change, and I've been lucky enough to play somebody who shakes things up in another little show called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it's a great position to be in. Because it's the opposing force in a lot of ways, and it's exciting to do.
You've done a lot of additional projects in the last couple of years. What kind of roles are you usually looking for when you're not working on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Birthday parties mostly. I enjoy them. Villain is such a hard one, man, because if you look at any one of these villains that we love, like Loki in Avengers, which would be a great example because he plays it with such relish. But you get to understand that these characters weren't born this way. There's a series of events that has happened that has led to them being who they are and why they are. And they're really just trying to move their own life forward and to make things right. And, they've been hurt. And so, I don't know, the villain, I don't even know. The villain is a hard one.
I wouldn't say, you're a villain. You're not a villain to jump in on this one. It's not that Victor's character is, everyone in this has multiple motivations. And some are sinister, some are, to them, very honest and important to their from their perspective. So it's the thing I like about this film, which I hope which I know Brett responded to, is that there is no clear line on a character's motivation here, and it depends morally. It's complex. So I can't wait for you to see it. It's like exciting.
And there's a whole existing relationship that these guys had, a kind of friendship beforehand, and then something happens, and ideologically they find themselves on two sides of the same, on two sides of the line.
Yeah.
I think
Angry.
it depends where you're standing from. It depends on the angle that you're looking at him from.
Yeah,
he could be a hero, he could be an anti-hero, he could be a villain. It depends on.
I'm certainly not going to position him.
How could you put him in any
unequivocally in one light. It's complex, and I think that's what makes it exciting.
No,
really?
Only in my dreams. I have not met her yet, but I am a huge fan of her work. After watching Outlander, how could you not be? And just the fact that she would sign on with this guy meant that I guess it's okay that I did too. No, but I'm very, very, very excited to work with her. And of course, I have tweeted once, but I'm sure it won't be the last time. How excited I am to work with her. Well, it's great. That's, I mean, a dream come true, actually. When you first start out, you are auditioning for everything. Walk-on parts where you mostly die in that episode, where you have sometimes only one line. He went that way. Scene. And that's, you're auditioning for these things over and over again, just to make it, just to get in there. And then when you have, a body of work, even if it's this big, then people sort of get an idea of who you are and what you're capable of. And then, thankfully, Simon and I have worked together. We know each other professionally and personally. And so then, he has an idea of who I am. And
that you've not seen yet. You can actually,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know me off screen as well. So, incredible! It is a dream come true. It is a dream come true. This is you do all this training so that you're able to do all of these things, and for somebody to think of you for a part is huge. It's huge.
Brilliant. Thank you for all your questions. They're great questions, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all of your support in getting us to where we are now.
Totally.
Hopefully, this will get us that much further to the end goal, because that's where we want to get, so we have a chance to show you this story.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you very much.